So, hi and welcome back. This is Unreal Engine 5 tutorial series. This is video number 3. We continue with our overview. We stopped here. You can see at this screen, we finished the top line and we continue now. So the left side, what you can see here, it says save the current level. Control S is the shortcut. This is a very general key binding. Control S. Or if you don't want to use the key binding, you can go here on the left and save all what you made. Then we have here select mode. This one is very important later because here we can select different modes, and the mode in which we are right now is the select mode, which means I can now select in the scene different assets. For example, I select this one or the bottom one or this one or this blue cube and so on. Important to note here is there are so many interesting cell modes which I can't show you right now because they need all for themselves a separate video. For example, the landscape mode, it's for artists who want to make a level, create a landscape. This goes for foliage as well. And then we have here mesh paint, modeling, fracture, brush editing, animation. So at least let's watch this. Okay, why not? So I click here on landscape, and then you see the mode is changing. Now I would go to landscape mode. Then let's go for this one. You see now I'm the foliage node, and the most time what changes is here is it pops up new editor, level editor, so a little browser, what you can see here with options, right? And then mesh painting, we have your mesh options. Then we have the modeling. Now we have the modeling options, which we can, and you can see we need really for that all time a separate video because you have to see this probably in action to see how to use them. And then we go to fracture and so on. Brush editing and animation, cool things. So we are here on top on select, which means I go back. We can select all the objects here in our scene. Okay, let's go on. What we have here, quickly add to the project. So this is interesting. We can quick add to the projects things. This is interesting and important, but yeah, why not? Normally you would get this here also on a very separate options settings side. Yeah, normally this one, what you can see here is popping up here on the left side with many options, with all the options here, right? And yeah, let's see. Okay, we can go. What is important here? Here, important is import content, perhaps. Content browser. No, basic. This one is very important. So you can see here an actor, pawn, point light, lights, shapes, the cube. For example, you see here many cubes. I click on this cube and now I can add here a cube, for example. Or I click here again. I go to the light. Let's make a for example, a point light. Now I'm adding light. You can see here's a little bit more light. And then let's see. Yeah, you get the idea, right? You can add assets to this level here, but they are very basic shapes, basic lights. But the lights are very useful, I think, but the shapes are not really useful. Why? The answer is very simple. These shapes, what you can see here, are only useful for demonstration, but later when you make a level or a game, you make your own assets, real assets, I would call them. Yeah, but perhaps I'm wrong. Perhaps they can be made. And then we have here many things, and really what I'm commonly use is just this lights and shapes a little bit, but just for test purposes, prototype purposes, and so on. Let's go on. What we have here is, I never use that, whatever this is. Your empty blueprint. Open level blueprint. That's very interesting. A level blueprint, but we are not talking about that yet, because we will talk about blueprints in a blueprint section. Game mode editing, edit third person game mode. This is very interesting too, because this one you need very often normally, but here I have a special place. But interesting to know that here on top is also a place, but I will not use that. I think. I'm not sure. I'm just testing it right now too. Okay, this one is not so important, I would say. Then we have here display a list of level sequence. I never use that. Only if you make a level sequence, which means a short trailer, film, or something like that. At the beginning, we are not doing that. Later, in a sequence section, when you learn about sequence, then you are going to use that. So never use that, never use that. This only for some shapes. And here, this is probably the most important button, what you can see here in the entire screen. And what is this button? Is the play button, which means we have here a screen, and when you play this whole game starts. Let's do it. So I press, now you can see the game started. With the mouse I can rotate. With the keys ASD W, which is a standard key binding for walking games and also in many other 3D softwares, as well as Unreal Engine, you can move around. So ASD W for forward, S for backward, something like that, and of course rotate with the mouse and so on. And yeah, that is our level. It's a little bit not smooth on my PC actually, but okay. Then I press escape key, the escape key pressed, and we are back. And to go back, we can move later. I show you how to move in the editor, but let's continue here first what we have here on top. So let me press again one more time, play, and then you can see here the stop button. Of course, instead of pressing escape key, we can just use here the stop button as well. And then let's stay here. Let's go on. And then we have here platforms. Interesting. Platforms means just for example, for which platform you want to test this. For example, we have here Android, we have HoloLens, iOS, Linux, and so on, and desktop normally, in my case, the first one. Normally I don't need to select this because we already selected this at start. Of course, you can just test it later for other platforms as well, because it means it is not said that I mean, you can select at start desktop, for example, but test it for mobile too, when you say this game is capable to play on mobile too, something like that. And then let's see, we have here project launcher, device manager, packaging settings becomes very important when you start. When you finished a project and want to package this project, and then it will also be packaged to the specified platform later. Yeah, that's it for this one, I think. And on the right side here, we can see settings. And yeah, the interesting one is the world settings, probably the project settings, and plugins. And this one are just things what you can watch, depends on your benefits. The most important one is also, I think, this one. For example, here, if you have a very good graphic card, you can set this one here auto cinematic, for example. This will be crazy, but I have actually a very low computer. Instead of setting to high, I would rather go to medium. Let's change this. You can see the scene changed a little bit, and shadows, let's go to low, because shadow is very expensive in general. And yeah, I'd rather go to this one. And then we have here material quality level. For example, if you go up and you have a 4K or 8K texture, this can be very, very bad if you have not a very good computer. So staying medium or low is good for prototyping because it's very smooth, but it looks awful. So careful if you are working on artistic works, for example, designing work and so on. Of course, don't go on low. Go rather on high and medium or even epic if your PC is capable of it, because you won't see the result in a very good quality. Yeah, that's that. This is there, and I think we can stop here too. And in the next video we go to the scene here in the middle a little bit, and then we go later down, and then the right thing, and then that's it, I hope. So see you in the next video. Bye.